Hi guys, so as you can see, I'm currently in Poland, so I thought it's only fitting to do a financial independence update for you. It's been a while since I've done the last one, but there's been a little bit of an update in terms of the land and the electricity poll, and I thought I'd let you know what's going on and then have a look at the numbers. So I'm going to start off with the land updates in terms of the electricity poll. So if you've been following me for a long time, you will know that when I spoke about this last time, it was looking like the electricity poll sort of move was going to cost £6,000 instead of the 2,000 I was originally planning for. But my dad worked with the electricity company and looked at different placements of the poll. So if you remember, I can't really get rid of it from my land, but we're going to place it sort of really near the fence so that it doesn't really interrupt the build. And that's going to cost about £3,000, which obviously is still a lot of money, but it's only £1,000 more than I was initially budgeting for. So I'm okay with that, I think. I have actually paid the deposit, which is half of the price already. So it was about a week or so ago, just before I came to Poland, we essentially made the payments to the companies. So now that we've paid that half, they have 14 months, which is insane. It's such a long amount of time, but I'm hoping they do it quicker than that. But they have 14 months in which to basically move that electricity pole. And then once they're done, I will have to pay the other half plus any other additional costs that may arise from the move, which can't be more than 20% without renegotiating. So something is finally moving. I've made my first sort of payment, obviously other than the land. So I've made the first payment to make things move. Yeah. So in terms of the numbers, I've changed how I'm looking at things now. So what I've done is all of the cash that I've got in the company account, I'm basically just counting towards that initial house build. So again, if you've watched these updates before, what I was doing was all my sort of cash savings plus my apartment equity, I was sort of putting towards the initial build, and then anything in my company account, I was counting towards like the emergency fund and the later stages of the build. But I think what I'm going to do, or what I have done now, is just count everything towards that initial build so that I know when I have enough money to just build the house, even if it's going to take me time to get the money out. But there are loads of different options that I have in terms of doing that. Obviously they incur tax and things, but that's fine. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to count everything to the initial house build until it is full, and then start looking at the other categories. So in terms of the initial house build, I've got about 59k out of the 76 that I'm going to need, which isn't actually bad. It's 77.9% of the way there, which when I see it as a percentage, it makes me feel so optimistic that it's looking so good. And it is enough to actually start. So once they sort of deal with that electricity poll, I have enough to actually start with the planning and the engaging of the builders, etc. So it's all really exciting, because obviously as time is going on, by the time they do it, I'll still have a little bit more. So yeah, it's really exciting. The energy poll move I've just put as a separate line here. Obviously didn't have that before. You can see here I've got that whole 3,000 out of the 3,000 needed, and I've paid half of it already. So the other half is just sort of sitting there in the cash savings. Now obviously with the house build later and the emergency fund, they both now say 0, because all of that was moved into the house build's initial sort of cost. I've also reduced the amounts needed from the house build later. That's mostly because I've just re-looked at the costings, and I don't think I will need as much as I was saying I was going to need. So that's a really good revision as well. So I think it's about £3,000 less. In terms of the investments, obviously the goal is about 100k initially, and I've got 17.7% of that, so 17.7k, which is about an increase of 2,500 since the last update. You can see here the breakdown of that in terms of what I have in which brokerage firm. So you've got the biggest one at the moment is still Trading 212, then Free Trade, then Money Farm, then eToro and Binance as the others, and then small amounts in the other brokerages as well. So in terms of the overall percentage of where I am, we're looking at about 43% of the way there, which I believe is about a 6.7% increase since the last update, which is awesome. Seeing it grow and get quicker, get nearer to my goals is just awesome. This is why I say track your goals, because it just feels amazing and so motivating to see things moving. Obviously at the bottom here, you've got the two things that are my wants rather than needs, which hopefully one day I will achieve, but that's my 1 year of living at £800 a month. I changed that from 1,000 because I think having that 800 just for like a nice simple life is going to be pretty decent. I only really need about 500 as the bare minimum. So I think having an extra £300 a month for like the fun stuff is more than enough. And then the extra 15k here for either a bigger house, like I've mentioned before, or extra land. So whilst my land was £10,000, there has been another piece of land that went up for sale recently, and it had gone up basically by about £5,000. So I'm basically getting ready for when the piece of land next to me comes up for sale. I really want to be able to buy it. So I think I am going to prioritize that extra land over the bigger house, but obviously we'll see at which point that's likely to happen. That's basically it for today. Really quick video, you know, I don't like longing things out if I don't need to, so hopefully it's been useful and motivating as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye.